So we're here today with Lance Merrick, one of St. Louis's top real estate agents.
I mean, I wouldn't agree with that, but I appreciate that. So thank you, sir.
100 deals last year. I just looked at your transactions for the last year.
134.
134! Dude, that is
you see anyway,
so awesome. So, I mean, I think one of the top agents here, ton of respect for you. You've been around the business for more than 10 years. You've been doing a great job. So really excited to have you on the show.
Well, yeah, excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's start with like a little bit of background. Okay, so how did Lance get into real estate? What was it that attracted you to real estate?
So, I mean, it sounds cliche, but growing up in a really small town in southeast Kansas, that's what we would do for fun. Let's go to open houses and whatnot with my mom and grandma. So it was kind of a family tradition. So when I got out of the military in Savannah, Georgia back in 2005, I knew that I wanted to get into real estate. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, but that's what I did upon my departure from the Army. So
okay, was your family in real estate?
They were not. No. We would go it was just what they like to do for fun. I mean, a town of,
really?
10,000 people. So, just knows there's not a lot to do in southeast Kansas, Derek. So you have to improvise. I mean, we're home in Big Brutus, like the largest manufacturing piece of tractor equipment. That was what we did for our field trips. Yeah,
oh my God.
Not a lot to do. So you go cow tipping and you go look at houses.
Is that a real thing?
It is a real thing. I've done it multiple times. So sorry for all my animal lovers out there. I was much younger and not as wise. So.
That's so funny, man. So tell me about the military thing. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, so I was in the Army. So I joined the United States Army. I went to boot camp in between my junior and senior year. Wow. That way, when I graduated, I could just go straight away to active duty. So I was reserves for that first year. Was stationed at Fort Hood first. I was in 13th COSCOM, HHT 43rd Medical Detachment. So my first 3 years, I got assigned to a veterinary clinic in the military. I didn't even know they had such thing. So complete opposite of the cow tipping, right? So
right.
First 3 years was just really chill, sham. Hit my E5 within like 2 years. I moved up really quick. Got OG Clerk of the Year and quarter and all those kind of things. And then re-enlisted to go to Hunter Army Airfield in Savannah with the intention of becoming a chief warrant officer and helicopter pilot.
Oh.
The day I got there, they said, haha, Sergeant Merrick, we're sending your orders and we're sending you to Fort Stewart, which is about 45 minutes away, also known as the trailer park capital of the world, but we're assigning you to HHT 37 Cav Rapid Deployment. I went from, it was where we were always ready to go and we deployed.
Okay.
So it was just a complete 180 from my first 3 years. So at the end of that 3 years, I decided to get out. Looking back, I probably could have stayed in and retired, but, grateful for the experience I had and wouldn't be here today. So, wouldn't be here today without, things going the way they did. So,
no kidding. Well, 6 years, that's a long time. Thanks for your service.
Yeah, man. For sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. Well, so was there anything, you've been kind of around real estate, you go to the open houses, you're getting out of the Army, and what's your thought process around real estate?
I knew that I loved it. Savannah was obviously a beautiful city. So, we had a ton of historic homes, squares, all that stuff. So I was always fascinated with it. And I knew that it was my opportunity to kind of change the trajectory of like my family, small town thinking. No one's ever broke kind of any barriers or any of that stuff. So I knew that I could jump in and do it because, the military teaches us to always find solutions and how to deal with people and all different parts of life. So I felt like it was a good training and a good segue into that.
So you started in Savannah?
I did.
Okay.
So I got licensed in 2005 in Savannah.
Okay. And then what was it that brought you to St. Louis?
So there's a few things. So you'll notice a trend. So I got going, had a good thing going in Savannah, had an ex that was also in real estate, and we decided to move to Tampa Bay. So we moved to Tampa Bay, started over in real estate down there, got a team going, had a good thing going. Yeah. Broke up, followed the next ex to Chicago. Broke up with next ex in Chicago, moved to the Caribbean, and took a 3-year break from everything. So did underwater dive tours, catamaran tours. I was working on my skydive certification, bartended, did weddings, did all the things.
Sounds like you were living the dream. That's like...
It was reverse retirement for sure.
Yeah.
Year 3, though, I kind of was like, okay, all the money I had saved up started to go away. So St. Louis was closer to home. I felt like I needed to be within a car's drive with my family for a little bit, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So
did you know anybody here?
I knew 2 people here. Yeah, wow. 2 people when I moved here. And to be completely honest with you, growing up where I grew up, my grandparents had always said, whatever you do, never stop in St. Louis. Louis. Like, never stop, it's dangerous, all the things. So when I lived in Chicago and I would drive home, I'd always either bypass the city or wait until I got to Kirkwood on 44 to get gas. Okay. So really, I knew I didn't want to go to Kansas City. I didn't want to go back to Chicago, and I needed to be close to home. So I just had to take a leap of faith. Tried it out, and I mean, I love everything about St. Louis. I think it offers so much, the affordability. We've been able to, grow our personal portfolio, and we live for free. Just opportunity here that you don't have anywhere else.
Yeah, so. But you were starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch, yeah. So when I first moved here, my very first job in St. Louis was Rosalita's on Washington Avenue.
Oh, really?
So did that for about a year, and then once I met my spouse, I knew that St. Louis was going to be home, so I knew I needed to jump back into real estate. So I got licensed back in Missouri in 2018. So.
Well, it's interesting because, I mean, so many real estate agents, they think about, like, if I were to go to a new market where I have no SOI, I have no friends, no family, no career base of people to go after, it would be a nightmare. And most people would not succeed in that environment. So what was it? How were you able to succeed where so many others have been unsuccessful with that?
So having done it 3 times, I think, part of it is just finding your tribe, right? So like for me, it was, I know like Stray Rescue. I know all the different events and non-for-profits that I like. So I was immersing myself into those, trying to network through that. I mean, I was the person that would do an open house 7 days a week. Everyone in the office knew that I would do it. And through that, if I could do an open house, I can convert some business for sure. So I'll make it a good time, make it fun. And just kind of grew my database from there, started out on a team. Year into the team, I realized, hey, I'm bringing in most of the business. So, at this point,
after a year,
so
1 year in St. Louis, and you're bringing in more deals.
I was bringing in more deals than they were giving me. So I'm like, why am I getting 50% of everything? Yeah. So that was the thought process. Took another buyer's agent from that team, and then we started like a 50-50 kind of partnership, and we had a team called Spaces, and then. Again, realized at the end of that year that probably wasn't the best thing either. So then kind of been on my own for the last 3 to 4 years. So.
Okay. What was different about real estate than you thought it would be?
Oh my gosh. Well, it's definitely not what it looks like on TV. That's for sure. I think we need to have a St. Louis edition, where we're, down in the mud and in the trenches and show what real estate, what the ones of us that work in places like this actually go through. Because we do a lot. But to answer your question, I think just I guess in my mind, way back when, I thought it was going to be a little bit more glamorous. I was going to be able to control my schedule, and we all know that doesn't work at all. I mean, let's be honest, for the ones of us that really work, we're working 7 days a week. We're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, dependent. So
you got to be there for your clients.
Got to be there for them because they will ditch you quickly if you don't. So
right. Well, it's kind of like being a broker, like when your agents need you, you got to answer the phone.
Absolutely.
When you need your broker, you need your broker.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Well, what would you say was the biggest mistake that you made along the way?
Oh, Lord. There's been a lot. I mean, first of all, following exes, I would say that was a big one. So, because it was a lot of work to start over every time. So don't do that. Biggest mistake that I've corrected over the last few years is trying to set better expectations up front as to availability, what that looks like, trying to protect my nights a little bit more, trying to, have that time for myself. Because when I throw myself into something, I'm like all in. But what I started feeling over the last, year, it's been, pretty insane, was just really starting to feel that burnout. They always say you're going to either burn out or you're going to break through. So now I'm working on just stepping back and taking time for myself, rediscovering what I like, because for 5 years now, I feel like I've just been in servitude of others. So ready to fill my cup back up a little bit too. So
how do you do that as a real estate agent? What does that conversation look like with a client when you're like, I can't be there for you these times? Like, are you that straightforward with them?
So no, I just now in my buyer consultations, seller consultations, I let them know the next steps every time. So I let them know like, hey, I'm going to call you on Monday and this is what them. So if you always let them know what's coming next, then I feel like they don't call you. When they have questions, that's when they start, so if there's a gap and you're not communicating with them the right way, if you communicate with them the right way, they'll never call you or ask questions because they'll understand. So just really dialing that in, going through a period of growth. So have a new director of ops. So trying to help her kind of figure, having been a solo agent for so long, it's hard to give up that control and hard to grow. I love mentoring people. I hate babysitting people, if that makes sense. Kind of going through those growing pains right now. Kind of the pace is not sustainable at this point. So,
tell me about the structure of your team. So you have a director of operations. What other team members do you have that are helping you to be able to serve more people?
So until this director of ops just came on, I've had Charlotte Luna. She's been kind of like my executive assistant for the last 3 years. So she has done, the contract to close portion, and then I have a cyber backer from the Philippines who does like my social media, all of my posting.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't have time for that stuff, and I'm also at that weird age where I don't really embrace it as much as pay for what you don't like, right?
A cyber backer. That's a new term. I love that. I haven't heard that before.
So they are essentially a company that will give you a person that's a virtual assistant in the Philippines. They work 40 hours a week, and it ends up being about $1,300 a month.
Wow.
So really cost-effective way to have some support for sure.
No kidding.
So she does my database management. So she'll text me like house anniversaries, birthdays every single day. So she helps me kind of stay up with touches and does all the marketing, and then she'll, run the database, tag everybody the proper way.
No kidding. And then social media too. She'll do
all my social media. She does all of it. Yeah.
Amazing. So, I mean, because we talk about content and like this is such a challenge for agencies.
Sure.
I feel like that's all they do is trying to create content and get on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and X and all of the other ones, and it's like they're not doing the job of a real estate agent anymore, right? They're trying to be a social media mogul, and like they're losing that ability to really connect with people.
I agree.
So was that a big hire for you? I mean, when you made that?
I mean, I've had the cyberbacker for about 3 years, so I mean, it was pretty low risk, right? So I mean, and I had to go through a couple to find the one that I really wanted. So it was just, they'll take them, they'll train them on any system, anything that you want. So it's just really communicating with them in the front end to get them exactly dialed in and what their job description and role looks like.
Okay. Well, if there's one thing that you could tell every agent that they have to do to be successful, what would that one thing be? Every agent has to do this thing if you want to be successful.
Answer your phone. I mean, how many times do we call, I have a pretty good success rate of winning offers in this volatile environment that we're in. And it's because I'm calling the listing agent. I'm asking all the questions. And, many times I'll get 10 to 20 offers on a property, and maybe 2 of the 20 agents would call. So it's like you're not really doing your job for your clients if you're not communicating, building that rapport, and really trying to help them win the house.
Yeah.
We all want to get them done as fast as possible. I don't want to keep showing houses every weekend because they lose. So over communicate, answer the phone, be available, block your time. I mean, I think that's a huge one. You have to really block it and protect it. Because if not, people are always ready to jump in and steal that. They're ready to take it away. So protect it at all costs. And lead gen, just go back to the basics. If stuff starts to feel slow, go back to the basics and
start picking up the phone, calling people.
Pick up the phone, calling people, or just go back through your past clients. They love you, they trust you. So for me, I like to do a lot of client event parties a year, and I make them really fun and impactful, and that's been great.
Give us an example. Like, what's one of your favorite events that you put on for your clients?
So this past year for a holiday party, we rented out the Armory. So we had an open bar. We had presents for everybody. Santa Claus was there. It was just a really fun event. We had about 200 people show up.
Wow.
Through like the sign-in process, we probably had 30 people that raised their hand and said they knew someone. So it's all about the follow-up, leading up to the event and following up after. So obviously thanking everybody for coming, but the people that raised their hand, hey, you mentioned a friend, like who is that?
Really?
So then you're taking it to the next level.
That's amazing. So you actually, at the party, made the ask, do you know anybody that could use our services?
Heading into 2024, do you know anybody that's thinking about real estate or any of that? And that's on the sign-in sheet. And then also when they sign in on the Google Drive, it also has that option. So then, I just sign into one document, I see how many people are coming and how many people have raised their hand. And then you follow up with those people. That's a key piece of it, right? You can't just get the data. So if they do it and you don't do the follow-up, there's that. I mean, I have a folder of probably 500, it's about that thick of open house sign-in sheets. I don't know anything else. So, when I had time, I was very intent about that. Very intentional about following up with those people, doing video, all those things. But, the more irons you have in the fire, the less time you have for stuff like that.
Well, so those are some things that are working. What are some things that you're like recalibrating this year? Like things that maybe have worked, but you're not seeing them work anymore, shifting market, changing things. What is it that you're adapting with your business moving forward?
I'm always always having high level conversations with experts in other areas to try to figure out like what's working for them too. Because here we all talk amongst ourselves in St. Louis, and I think we have a great community of realtors and stuff too. But it's nice to know what other people are doing and what's working. I feel like for right now, we're just trying to double down on our past clients. So double down on that, whether it's pop buys or more events or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
They're always happy to help you out.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I love asking this question. What if you were, because brokerages are always changing. There's a million different brokerages, right? If you were going to design a brokerage from scratch, ground up, what does it look like? What is it doing? What is it providing? How does it support you?
I mean, that's a tough one, Derek. But, I think having a cool atmosphere like you have, I think culture is everything. So it kind of all sprinkles down from the top, right? So if you go into office every day and it's boring, it's mundane, don't really have the support, it also goes back to, what does that split and stuff look like, right? So, where I'm at now, my expectations are that we have a marketing person that helps us.
Which we can talk about. You're Keller Williams. Yeah.
So, I think having training for the new agents, having access to the broker is huge. I've been in a brokerage in the past where I couldn't get the broker on the phone. So, it's not very seldom that we need it, but when we do, it's nice to have that backup for sure. I think most people in today's world are happy to pay for marketing because, again, that's stuff that bogs us down. I don't have a degree in marketing. I'm good with dealing with people, but, that's not my strong suit. So I think having access to all of that stuff and kind of having it consistent across the board, whatever we can do, because it's just going to help the whole branding of the entire office that way. So.
How important are caps to you?
I mean, it's not important to me. It's nice because I have my cap, and then, with what I save from that, I can hire out whoever I need. So it's money that I can pay towards my salaries. And
sure.
My team members and stuff too. So.
Any technology that you're using that is like really exciting to you? That's kind of.
I've embraced AI like 100%. So my favorite thing right now is it's called the Productive AI Call Assistant.
Oh.
So what it does is it recaps all my phone calls. It will automatically put any scheduled appointments on my calendar. Oh. It will give me a task list at the end of the day because I'm often in my car, for 8 hours. So how many people did I promise something to?
Yeah.
So when I get home and I'm like, I remember this. But it gives me a fail-safe checklist at the end of the day.
So it's essentially recording and listening to your conversations and then extracting the important information and giving it to you like an assistant would if they followed you around all day.
Absolutely. If they were listening to me on the phone, like back in the day, my assistant would ride in my car and I'm having a buyer consult. It's like, hey, 3-bedroom, cheap bath, Ellisville, bought one.
Oh my gosh.
So this will just recap all of that for me.
Brilliant.
And then it gives me a task list, so it's just a fail-safe at the end of the day. So,
wow. And do you use that yourself or do you give that to an assistant and say, okay, here are the things I need you to plug in for me?
What I like about it is if it's a new search that needs to be set up, I can text it over to my assistant and she has all the criteria right there.
Yeah.
But it also, like, if it's the weekend or after business hours, all that stuff, I still have the task list, so I can go there and it tells me when I told them I'd do it, whether it's 24 hours, 48 hours, just what that expectation was, so I can make sure I'm sticking to that. I mean, we have our integrity in our word, right? So,
amen to that. Yeah, your word is your bond. Yeah. Well, so last couple of questions. Goals for the next 1 to 2 years.
Okay. So my biggest goal right now is figuring out work-life balance. So that's why I'm going through the hiring phase, looking to add a couple buyer's agents or showing partners on as well, just to get out of the car so I can focus more on the business side and love on the past clients more. I get wrapped up, you move on and you have this great plan to stay in touch and all that, but then it's a steady hamster wheel. So, stepping back a little bit, being okay with giving some away and training people at a high level to operate hopefully better than me is what I'm looking for this year. So,
okay. Love that.
Then 5-year plan is to hopefully have a satellite team in California and fly back to St. Louis like once a month just to show face and then hopefully get into selling the big dog homes out that way. So,
cool.
So,
what area of California do you like?
San Diego, Palm Springs.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Coronado Island.
We actually have a big luxury symposium on Coronado Island.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that's got to be one of my favorite places in the whole world. They've got everything there. It's like
they do
biking, boating, like all kinds of incredible beaches. Pretty neat place. That's awesome. Okay, so St. Louis specific. Favorite coffee shop?
Blueprint. So I love Blueprint. There's one in the Loop and there's one on Watson Road in South City. So,
okay. All right. Favorite restaurant?
Louis on Demand, 100%.
Really?
Solid, love it. It's my favorite. Drake shut it down for 4 days, so I mean that tells you how good it is. So I've never had a bad meal there. I love it.
All right, so I'm not a foodie. Where is it?
So it's on Demand in Clayton.
Oh,
so
okay.
Over,
Right.
you have Sasha's Wine Bar, Clementine's, Coffee
Yeah.
Coffee, Louis on Demand, and a couple other restaurants.
Okay.
So right off the Clayton Road in Demand.
Fantastic. I love that. And your favorite summer activity is we're going into the summer here.
So I'm a water person. So underwater dive tours, I love to water ski, love to wakeboard, all that kind of stuff. So we try to go to Gulf Shores. We have an Airbnb down there and we keep a boat down there. So going out on the boat, having a break from real estate, a break from the phone, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah,
sure.
get out of Missouri a little bit.
Yeah,
is that it?
for sure.
Yeah. Cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for being here. It's
Of
been
course.
really fun
Thanks for
talking
having
with
me.
you.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
Appreciate it.